Can't you celebrate that, really?
That is how I chose to start again. If I could choose to tell you one thing about myself to give you an insight into me and really who I am, it would be this. I love stories. When I was 6 years old, my teacher at school found me sat with my classmates all around me, and I was reading to them. And when she looked to see what I was reading, it was a seed catalogue. I was reading to my classmates, making up a story out of a brochure for plants and flowers. I'd say as I've got older, I've moved slightly on from wanting to make up my own stories and become much more interested in other people's stories. My love of films and good TV and books, it isn't just about escapism and entertainment for me, but it's also about the story that's there. The same goes for my passion of art and travel and history, and even of charity shops. You know, you might find something there right in front of you that's just a little piece of history that's got a whole of the story behind it, and it might only cost you £1.30. It's my own story began in 1984 in the northeast of England. I came from a very happy home with a mother and a father and a younger sister. We didn't really have that much money, but I never really noticed. I always had my head in books. I was very much a dreamer. I kept a diary from the age of 10 years old. As I grew older, when I was a teenager, I used to light candles and listen to REM and write in my diary and draw pictures and just dream of the world outside of my little semi-detached house. I didn't really have any career aspirations as to what I wanted to be. I thought when I was younger, I thought perhaps I'd own an art shop and I'd live in the flat above it. When I filled in a careers questionnaire at school, it said perhaps I should be a hat maker. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, but I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be a hat maker. As I grew older, I'd say all I knew was that I wanted to work with people. People really are the only thing that interests me. So when I was 19 and announced that I wanted to go and live in India for 6 months, my mum said she wasn't surprised. She just gave me one instruction, which was if I was kidnapped, I wasn't allowed to let her know until I was free. So I packed my bags and went off to India for 6 months to work in a children's home. I really didn't know what to expect. I'd never been on a long-haul flight before. I'd never been out of Europe. I'd never lived away from home. But I just instantly fell in love with the place, and my time there just completely changed my life. Within about 3 days, I was just in love with the noise and the chaos and the smells and the sound. And I think I realised quite quickly that people, pretty much wherever they are in the world, have the same wants and needs, and that's enough to connect you with somebody else wherever they're from. You can happily play with a 5-year-old girl who doesn't speak the same language as you. I'd say that the people I met in India truly changed my life. And it was after that, after my time in India, that I developed an interest in international politics and development issues and justice, and I went on to do a theology degree at Edinburgh University. And theology for me is very much about individual stories and how they fit into a larger narrative, an interest in a global story. I was very lucky through my time at university to make friends all around the world. Not only does that lead to quite cheap holidays, I've travelled all around the US and only paid for accommodation once, but it also helps to open my eyes and really give me perspective as to other people. One of my favourite people in the world is the woman that I shared a room with in India, Margaret. Margaret is a now 82-year-old American lady from North Carolina. We shared a room for 6 months and shared our lives and shared our stories at the same time. Margaret, when she was 20 years old, had cancer, but it was the Second World War at the time, and she used to knit socks for the men on the front line. As she got older, she married a church minister who turned out to be abusive to her. She lost a daughter to cancer and a granddaughter later on in a car crash. She lost all of her life savings in a scam, and when she was 74, she decided to go and live in India and shared a room with me. She really had more strength of character than anyone that I've ever known. And to me, it was really just showed that the effect that another person can have on an individual's life. To me, it really is the people that we meet and the experiences that we have in life who make us who we are. I certainly haven't worked it all out yet, the whole what I want to do with my life thing, but it's stories that keep me questioning and thinking and searching, and I guess that's why I'm here as well at Toastmasters, is to hear some of your stories, but also to improve myself and improve my own story.